So it'll be interesting. So how busy is your ER these days? Don't be afraid to say hi. Pop in, say hi, and let me know how you're doing. Oh, man. Oh, interesting. There we go. I'm gonna pull up the big screen here so I can see your comments a little bit better. I see y'all sitting in there. Say hi and good morning. I'm Gary, the ER nurse. Once upon a time, I was a television news anchor and reporter. That was my first career. Done a lot over my 50, almost 51 years. So some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience. What are y'all saying? And of course, I can't see any of it. Mhm. I think the live traffic has definitely gone down a little bit this week for the holidays. I think that's one of the interesting things that I've noticed, and I also think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes at TikTok. I've seen a lot of other content creators talking about new restrictions in place and limitations. And one of the things I've noticed is comments go missing. Like where I have replied to people, 100% know I replied to them, and then I go back in and those replies are gone. Like they're not there anymore. And then people ask me like, why can't you like why aren't you answering my question? And it's because I never saw it because it's for whatever reason I can't see it, and I can't approve comments anymore. So I've been using the TikTok Studio um, for MacBook, and I mean, I think it's got a lot of functionality, but I wanted to try using the phone today to see if this is any different of an experience. Because normally, like, I average, like 50 to 150 per live. It's been way down since then, so I don't know. We'll see. But welcome in. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the Daily Heart Me. I appreciate you. We're just talking about Christmas week. It's Christmas Eve. My hospital is absolutely nuts right now. It is full. I left last night. I actually left on time, which was nice because we had all of our night shifters. Nobody was on break. Nobody was on leave. And there were nine. We're a 15-bed ER, 20 when we have our like our quick care open, but that closes at 5. So after 5, it goes down to a 15-bed ER. When I left last night, 9 of those beds were holds, and none of them were going upstairs. And that meant anybody that came in after them is gonna be a hold, and that was kinda scary. Peeking over here. Oh, thank you for the daily heart me. I appreciate that. Danny P, welcome in. I'm popping over here to see my other channels to see what's going on there. There we go. A little bit of a delay. So I'm trying to go on other channels. Oh, good. Thank you. Loving the Christmas vibes. Oh, Christmas is like my jam. My jam. Let's see here. Green 23. Any advice for how to go about in an interview as a new grad when you're 4-month gap between? Oh, so I actually did that. I graduated in May. I and then three weeks later, I took the MCLEX passed, and then I didn't start until September. And I was one taking a little bit of a break, but two, there was a specific job I wanted. The job I have now is the job that I wanted then, but they didn't have any, or they had an opening, but they were dragging their feet. And then it turns out there was some financial mismanagement, so they actually shut down all jobs, which put me in a bind because now I had to apply for a bunch of new ones. Which I thought this one was they told me like, oh, we hire all of our externs. I'm like, cool. So I didn't have a problem with that. Just say you took a little time off because you knew you were about to embark on a long career and you are ready to get to work. So that's I mean, like, if that's why you took off, if it was because you just needed some time to recoup, spend some time with family, that's always a good one. Um, I'm about to start cross training ER and ICU, and I'm scared. Where are you currently? Are you which unit are you in currently? And Green, good luck with your interview. I hope that goes well. I wouldn't stress about it. I would think I was 3 months before I started, and it was kinda nice because we had a newborn, so it was kinda nice to be able to my wife had picked up a lot of slack, so it was kinda nice for me to actually help her out a little bit more when I was done with school and, get to spend time with our son. ICU trained RN for 23 years, first time seeing you, just saying hello. Louise, thank you very much for stopping in. I started my career in the ICU, not as long as you. I'm only 10 years in. I'm a second career nurse, but I appreciate you stopping in. I appreciate the work you do. We're waiting to see what Alexis is doing. She's cross training ER and ICU. You're on a cardiac step down, so you're okay. So you're okay. So you don't have a whole lot of experience with either one, but that's okay. So you already have cardiac step down, which is very ICU like. So you've got that part down. It's just a higher acuity. The ER is going to be like polar opposite. It's Wild West. You need to be ready to roll with whatever anytime as soon as they walk through the door. So I wouldn't stress about that too much. But you have to understand that you got to go from the full head to toe assessments to focused assessments. That's the big thing. And you're constantly reprioritizing all of your tasks, like what needs to be done first. And in a lot of cases, you're not going to get all those things done. It is almost impossible in a busy ER to get all of the things done. So you have to prioritize what needs to be done first. So when your ER is just busy as all get out and you got people coming in and you got some really sick people, you need to just understand that some things are not going to get done. Is everybody ready for Christmas? For those that celebrate Christmas, are you ready? Have you done all your shopping? Are we just going with gift cards at this point? And who still sends out actual Christmas cards? Because we haven't done that in years. And I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, like when I get cards from other people, it's kind of like, oh, that's nice. And then I move on. So if they send a letter, like an update of the year, that helps, I guess, because you get an idea of what's going on with the family. But I don't know. I don't know if I really need a Christmas card. And have you seen the cost of a stamp? It's insane. What happens if I have respirations 6 to 8 while awake? I have that. Um, but I think it really depends. If there's any concern, you should definitely see your primary care physician. It doesn't necessarily mean like when I work out or when I meditate or when I'm doing yoga, sometimes if I'm chill Frankie, thank you very much for the daily heart me. I may have I've counted them. I can be anywhere from 6 to 8. But I would, if you have concerns about your health, you should always check with your primary care. Good morning, Allison. Welcome in. I hope you're doing okay. And Frankie, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate you. Danny P. Nope. Still have to wrap and see how many stocking stuffers I need. Oh, yeah, those. Allison, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Every time I see that hat, it reminds me of our trip out to Arizona almost 3 years ago. I cannot believe it's been 3 years, but we took the kids out to Arizona and it was awesome. We got them real cowboy hats and real cowboy boots. So got to ride one of the trains down to the Grand Canyon, and they have the cowboys that ride the horses and rob the train, and the kids absolutely love that. Gen Xer wants to know why. Why what? Why? Somebody else asked a question earlier. I want to scroll back and see if I can find it. Oh, JK and MA, do you treat withdrawals in the ER? Yes. Yeah, we do that. Um, Typically, we will kind of address that in the very early stages, and then that patient is typically gonna go upstairs to the ICU for further evaluation and monitoring. But, yeah, we'll get them started in the emergency department. Now, what I have found is that patients that know that they can go through withdrawals, when they come in for like, when they wanna get admitted to the program to detox from all of that, then typically what they'll do is they'll actually have drinks before they come to us to help kind of like stave off any of the withdrawal symptoms, but not that's not always the case. So whenever they come into the emergency department as a triage nurse, one of the things, and which I was triage yesterday, I always ask, when was your last drink? Because that really sets the clock. That 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours is really kind of where we need to be aware of. So and if they've said, oh, it's been like 18 hours and they're stone cold normal, then I'm not really worried about it at that point. How many times have you set up TPN? Oh, when I was in the ICU, probably quite a bit, but I that's been a long time ago, and I definitely don't do that in the emergency department. Now, when I go upstairs, when I go upstairs to do lines or mid lines or whatever for the floors, I will see TPN set up, and I'm like, oh man, that brings back memories. But it's been probably 8 years since I've had to do that. I'd have to do all the Elsevier training again. I don't remember any of that. All right, so now we got a slightly bigger crowd in here, and I just wanna ask people, for those that work in healthcare in the hospital, how's your hospital been? Because ours is it's bad. Like, I was in triage yesterday, and they wouldn't stop coming, and when I left last night, we're a 15-bed ER, 20 beds during business hours when our quick care is open, but after 5 o'clock, those 5 beds go away, and we're down to 15. When I left last night, 9 of those beds were ER holds, and none of them had beds upstairs. None of them. So that's leaves us 6 beds for the ER. So anybody that came in after I left is also going to be a hold. So I'm a little nervous because I thought I was charged yesterday, but I was triage. I'm charged today. So when I go in today, I'm kind of nervous about what it's going to be like. So the day shift crew is getting ready to roll in there right now, and I'm tempted to text them to see, like, what should I expect here? How much coffee do I need to bring with me today? I'm in the ER and we had a trauma. Yeah? Are you not a Ty, are you not a trauma ER? 'Cause that can happen. Mrs. Harp, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. I'm also going live. I'm simulcasting, um, but I like I have, like, no following on any other platform. A little bit on Instagram, but who, like, goes to Instagram to watch anything? Everybody's here on TikTok. It's just, it's just a I don't know, their platform's really good, it's just they've got a lot of censorship issues. Urgent care is packed, seeing about 190 a day. What is your typical turnaround time per patient? I did, like, 2, 3 weeks in a urgent care. It wasn't bad, but there were some things they wanted me to do, like, they wanted me to count the till at the end of the shift. I'm like, "I'm not doing that, I'm not an accountant. I'm terrible with money." Lizzie L, "Oops, all my friends hated being charged." Yeah, like, I don't mind it so much. Um, it can get tiring. Like, it's a lot to deal with every day, like, all of the little fires that you gotta put out all the time. It's just nonstop. Fortunately, I work with some really good nurses who are very self-sufficient, and I don't have to handhold, and we don't have new grads, so I don't have to worry about orienting or helping them along. Everybody there has been doing it for a while, so they're very competent at what they do. I just fill in gaps when they need it. So, and that really helps. When you have experienced nurses, that really does help. And I think our youngest nurse is like 35. Like we're all like AARP. So Lizzie, I yes, I think it makes the workflow a little better, but I honestly don't mind. Like if I'm really trying to I'm working on getting new grads back in to our facility and into the ER. We had a manager who just retired earlier this fall who is stone cold set. Doesn't like new grads, only likes experienced nurses. And I understand that, but sometimes it's good to have new blood. New grad nurses come in, they've learned in a lot of cases, they've learned I want to say the most up to date, but more up to date information than we probably learned, right? So once you graduate, it's on you to continue your education and stay up to date. And that's not always possible. Sometimes you like find out third hand, like, oh, that changed. I need to go look at that. But when you're in nursing school, there's still going to be a lag, right? They still teach like KX-late for hyperkalemia, which we haven't done that in like 10, 12 years or something like that. Now the hospital I came to did, and between me and our new ER chief, who I used to work with at another ER, and I was super stoked when she came there, we were able to get that changed. I tried, and they're like, "You're just a nurse. We're not going to listen to you." And then she came in as a board certified emergency physician and was able to get some changes made. All right. Jessica Cole, we have an ER full of new grads being in charge. Oh, I bet. So when I was at the University of Virginia during the height of the pandemic, we had a lot of new grads. Like I would give report on to a night shift nurse, and I remember telling her about a patient that had something, and they were, you know, vented or whatever. And I was talking to her, and I could just see her eyes kind of glaze over, like she had no idea what I was talking about, which would make sense if you're a new grad. There are a lot of things you or disease process. And I looked at her and said, and I just looked at her and said, "So how long have you been a nurse here?" And she goes, "Oh, I just got off orientation." And I was like, "Oh." And she goes, "Are you like a new grad orientation?" She goes, "Yeah, new grad orientation." 3 months. 3 months is all that she got before she got thrown into a level 1 trauma center with a full assignment. So, I feel bad for it. Now, we're friends on Facebook, and she's thriving and doing well. She's still bedside, but I know that experience probably was rough for her, especially during that time. Is it possible to get into the ICU? Yes, Jay, absolutely. I started my career as a nurse in an ICU as a new grad. So it is possible. What I always tell people is when you're looking at applying for jobs, go in person. Go talk to that manager of that unit and tell them, "I'm a new grad or I'm going to be graduating. I really want to work ICU. What can I do to improve my odds? Do you have a nurse shadowing program where I could shadow an ICU nurse for a shift?" I would definitely talk to them about that, and it does work because when your name comes up and it's time to look at those resumes, they're like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that person. They came here and talked to us. They really wanna work here," and the other ones don't have that face and name recognition, so I recommend doing that. My daughter just started RN in ICU at age 22. Any advice? Buckle up. It's gonna be like drinking from a fire hose. It's a lot of information coming at you very quickly. My advice is to find a good seasoned nurse who is kind and willing to take them under their wing and help guide them. Ask lots of questions. Utilize the online tools to educate herself on these disease processes and keep notebooks. I got little 5x7 spiral bound notebooks, and I would just fill it with information I didn't know, and that reinforces that knowledge. And the other thing that I always tell new grads is trust but verify. Just because another provider or clinician tells you something doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean that it's up to date. It's not that they're lying to you. It's just that sometimes the information they have might be old. So I still worked with doctors that thought Kexlate was the first line treatment for hyperkalemia. It is not. There's a couple other medications that we give. So good morning, Amanda. Amanda, welcome to the Day Shifters. Amanda is on her first day shift. She switched from nights to days, so it'll be interesting to see what the night shifters do when she comes in to get report today. A lot of side eye, I'm sure. Mhm. Traitor. I got that just going from days to mids. Is it possible? Let's see. I work midnights, so pretty much all nurses are new grads. Oh gosh. I saw a post. You've already been called a traitor. Oh no. Hopefully they're just joking. I'm sure they're just messing with you. Just remember, they gotta get handoff tonight too, so they gotta be kinda kind, right? Why are the let's see. Oh, old school, I don't I mean, I've definitely heard that, like, we all learned that. I don't there's a lot of reasons. That's a very complex that'd make a really good podcast episode, I think, so Justin, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Are you having a good holiday season so far? Shopping all done? Thanks for the Go Populars, man, I appreciate you. How can one get better at critical thinking? Boy, that's a good one. I don't know if I have the right answer for that. I think the way it was described to me when I was in nursing school is think of it like a puzzle. So when you have all the pieces scattered around, like you can see, like, oh, that there's like a baseball or there's, a football. And you can look at the bigger picture and go, oh, this goes here and then this one goes here. But it's going to take time to look at all those pieces and then actually put them together. So I don't know if there's a way that you can teach critical thinking other than to just take a second and instead of reacting, think about all the information top to bottom. Like, what do we know? Ask all the questions and then try to form a bigger picture. I think critical thinking comes with time and experience. And some people are just naturally better at it than others, and that's fine. Consuela Hallman, my daughter is a BSN and in a hospital, nurses overworked, not enough. Yeah, that is true. I think we're seeing a lot more of that. And there, Lisa Mullen, who is a nurse on here, you probably have seen her before, but she did a post the other day about how a significant number of nurses currently working are either boomers or Gen Xers and Gen Zs, and that leaves a very, very small number of millennials and younger to take over when all of the rest of us retire in the next 15 years. And the numbers that she threw out there were really scary. Like, that was really scary. Um, I'm not sure what's happening with that comment, Sky, but that does not sound good at all. Like, that's not I'm trying to decipher that, but that's definitely not cool. Does anyone know if imposter No, it doesn't. I'm almost 51 years old, and I still suffer from imposter syndrome. I'm just waiting for them to come claim my license. Like, "You're not a nurse. Get out of here. You don't know what you're doing." Clam Jam, thank you for the daily heart me. I appreciate that. Good morning. Know any good cath lab content creators? I don't. I need to find some. If I find some, I will push them out there. I'm sure it'll be easy. Anybody in here know some cath lab content creators, physicians, PAs, MPs, nurses? Kenny Nash, good to see you, man. West Texas, El Paso, but it's hot down there. What is it today? Oh, it's going to be 57 here today, and it's going to be 61 on Christmas Day here. So, bleh, not a fan of that. Kenny, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate y'all. If you know other nurses, PAs, MPs, doctors that you think would be interested in this, please feel free to share out the live. Don't forget to tap that screen. Every little tap helps. Doesn't cost a penny. Appreciate y'all stopping in for my morning live before I go into work today. Kenny Nash, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Did you hit the nightclub or the No, I don't do that anymore. I'm too old for that. Like, I get home from work, I take a shower, I brush my teeth, and then I go to bed. And if I'm not working and it's 10 o'clock, it's too late. It's ready. It's time for bed. Kenny, thank you. I appreciate you, man. I really appreciate you stopping in. Yeah, it's like, when somebody's like, "Hey, you wanna go out? What time?" 9 o'clock. Oh, like, at night? No, I'll meet you for brunch at 9 a.m. I am not going out at 9 o'clock at night. I'm winding down, time for bed. So, Kenny, when I work day shift, I would go to bed really early, but, now I'm mid, so I don't get home until 10:45, 11 o'clock. So, by the time I get to bed, it's around midnight, by the time I'm asleep and everything. So, yeah, I can't do it. But and then I get up around, like, 6, so I can get, like, 6 solid hours, and I'm good. Uh, you know, like a fine wine. But you know what? 50 now, like 50 now in 2025 is not 50 when my parents were 50. Like, like when my dad was 50, I thought I thought he was ready to retire. I mean, he looked like he was ready to retire. This is a different generation. But like, I look at pictures of him when he was 50. I mean, he looked like he's 65. Not that he's in bad shape. It was just, I guess, a harder life. I don't know. Kenny Nash says 60 and rocking it. Yeah, 60 is like the new 40, I think. I see some 60-year-olds that not in the hospital because when they come in and they're 60, they look like they're 80. But oh, thanks for the confetti. I appreciate that. Player playette. I like that. But yeah, I've seen some 60-year-olds. I'm like, I work with a guy who's getting ready to turn 60. A dude legit, and I'm totally dude can do like 1,000 push-ups. He is ex-military, super great guy, keeps himself peak physical condition, and he still has like the the fade. That's right. It's a much different aging dynamic than it used to be. Oh, got some frisky people in here today. Kristen's ICU RT, respiratory therapist. Are you dedicated in the ICU? You just work respiratory therapy in the ICU? Ames, good morning. I was putting together my 2025 TikTok wrap up and I put in I was putting in some clips from the podcasts and you were definitely in there. I hope you're doing well. Hope you're ready for the holidays. What age fluid mission? So oh gosh, keep real. So I work at a VA hospital, so we typically only see adults. So I don't know what the pediatric one is, but we're seeing lots of flu A, but not a lot of admissions for that. And typically, if they need admission for it, it's because they have a lot of other health problems or what we call comorbidities. The ER kept you young, or almost ended you. Yeah, I get that. Amagaro. I don't know if I said that right, but thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Can't wait to see it. Oh, yeah, I've already published it. It's out there. Oh, you joined my fan club for 3 months? Oh, thank you, Ames. I appreciate you. What's in the cup? No. It is coffee with, I don't know, some type of creamer, sweetened creamer. Yeah, I don't drink black coffee. I'm not that guy. I can't do it. I have done it, like, but that's like desperate measures. I've done that when I go camping and there's like you can't take cream with you. So I've done that. Danny P, thank you for the hand heart. I appreciate that. Y'all coming in strong this morning. I love it. Got the you're awesome from Player Playette. What's your favorite medical thing to do? Oh, ultrasound IVs all day, every day. I love doing that stuff. The harder, the better. I can do midline, so I like looking for them. I really wanna learn how to do, PICC lines, and I'm hoping I can convince them to let me take the 2 weeks off needed to do the training. Thank you for the paper cranes, Player Playette. I really appreciate you. Good morning, Holly. Thank you for the Go Populars. Thank you for the Daily Heart Me. You know what? There it is. The Corgi, I love the Corgi. Thank you, Holly, I appreciate you. Player play it with your awesomes. I love it. Doreen, thank you for the follow. Have you done travel nursing? Just Josh and you says, have you done travel nursing? You're in the DC area. Yes, I have done travel nursing. I did it for a year during COVID. So I did. I loved it. I worked at the University of Virginia. I extended as much as I could before I knew the IRS was going to come after me. So, because if you do it more than a year, they consider that your permanent residence, and then you lose all your tax exempt status if they catch you. A lot of them do it, and they hope they don't get caught. So, what's your least favorite NG tubes? Not a fan. Like, there's nothing that gags me on it. Like, it doesn't make me grossed out or anything. It's just not my thing. Like, I can do them. I'm not the best at them. But like, I don't know. It's just not my thing. I will trade that for anything else. Let's see. Just heading to California now. Oh, you're heading to California next. Okay, very cool. Let me know how that is. I've been to California, but it's been a long time. I was a kid, so I haven't been there as an adult. Have you ever worked in an L&D? No, I've not. My first hospital that I worked at, we had a labor and delivery, like a mother baby ward. So like anytime an ambulance would come in with a pregnant lady, they wouldn't even come to us. They would go straight to mother baby because they had their own emergency entrance. What's the most accurate movie about ER nurses? I don't know if there's any movies about ER nurses, and none of them are going to be fully accurate. Like I've watched like a couple episodes of Nurse Jackie. I mean, there's definitely a lot of truth to that, but I mean, it's all acting. You know, there's always going to be parts that you're just like, that's not even close. Even The Pit has a lot of, inaccuracies, but it's Hollywood. They have to embellish things or over explain things to make sense to the audience. Best advice as a new ER nurse. Okay, so usually what I tell people is find a good not, find a good mentor, not necessarily your preceptor, but find a good mentor who you can feel comfortable asking questions to, and then get little notebooks. I had like the spiral bound 5x7s. And anytime you get something that you're not familiar with, a new medication that you most likely will be giving more often in the ER, or a disease process, write that stuff down. Fill those books up. I filled like up, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 of those when I started in the ER, and that'll help reinforce some of that knowledge. Hello from an ER volunteer from the UK. All right. How are things over there? I don't know if you're a football fan, but I'm a big English Premier League, English Football League fan. I follow all kinds of teams. Love them. Who's your club? Everybody's got a club. Even if you're not a fan, you got a club, right? Furia, my brother was a charge nurse, worked his way up to assistant hospital administrator. Yeah, good for him. I have no desire to do that. No desire to do that. Who's the youngest? I've worked on infants. Yeah. Because when I worked public hospital, so where we took everything, we didn't have a pediatric specific ER. We were just all in one. I've worked at a hospital that had a pediatric ER. But yeah, kids, I've worked on little kids. Shelly, thank you for sharing out the live. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's why I think a lot of nurses have have like some PTSD and some mental health challenges, is because of all the things that we see. We think we're really good at compartmentalizing them, but that's not always true. How long have you been with the VA? Over 4 years now. Thoughts on their care. Ames, thank you for the hand heart. I appreciate that. Oh, TikTok is mad at me again. I don't know what I said. Every time. This is why I got to get off of here, because it doesn't matter what you do. Tell me, what did I say? Anybody have any idea what I said that would be bad? But whatever. Let's see. How long? Let's see. I've been with the VA for 4 years. I love what I do. I love working with the veterans, and thoughts about their care and how they're really treated overall. At our VA, we have a good reputation, and I think the veterans mostly feel like we do a really good job. We have veterans that bypass other VAs to get to us because we have a good reputation. I understand that's not the case with all VAs. So I feel like we do a really good job at my VA. I have definitely heard stories about other VAs and issues that veterans have had with them, but I think overwhelmingly the response is pretty positive from our veterans. So how do I deal with situations that don't end well? Well, for a long time, you just compartmentalize it. You just push it down and deal with it later, but it'll come back to get you. I recommend finding a good therapist. Do you feel there's a difference between like an associate degree and a BSN? Yeah, I mean, not by much though. Both still have to take the same NCLEX, so that's not a huge issue. BSN Prepared does some research courses, learns how to do research, read research, and then leadership courses. Outside of that, there's not a huge difference between the two. So I don't know. I think some of that's overrated. Oh, Furia says he said his favorite out of all the things that he's done was flight nurse. So I've never actually been employed as a flight nurse. I did a 10-month flight nurse program with Echo Heliops, and I've done some fly-alongs, and I absolutely loved it. So that would be my favorite thing to do. It's like the very first time I did a fly-along and we lifted off. It was my first time ever in a helicopter. Absolutely loved it. I just wanted to do it forever, but I just can't afford. You actually don't get paid that much more, if at all, than a bedside nurse. And I get paid way more where I work than the flight nurses, because there's only one flight agency in our area, and it's very, very competitive. So they are able to keep the pay down a little bit. And I'm not willing to do that. So maybe one day, but I'm not there. And I'm just getting older and older and older. Lisa Love, 30 years as a nurse. Yeah, I bet you have seen a lot. Cypress says it wasn't me this time. Yeah, but I mean, it went from like 90 to 48, like almost instantly. This was so frustrating. And then they'll never tell you what you did. They just say you violated it, so you can't have people anymore. You can't have nice things. We have a good reputation in Virginia. That's good. Yeah, I think so. Christy, good morning. Thank you very much. I appreciate you stopping in. Thank you for that daily heart me. Yes, Mary Ann has a good point here, saying that you learn a lot in a small rural or city community hospital, critical access nurse for 30 years. So I was worried when I started my career as a nurse and I went to the ER. And then I was moving on to a level one trauma center. I was worried that my experience, like I wouldn't have what it takes. Like I didn't know enough. And I found the opposite to be true. When you go to a large level one trauma center that's a teaching hospital that has high volume every day, you have specialists that do so many things. We had two pharmacists dedicated to the ER 24/7. We had respiratory therapy dedicated to the ER. We had IV start teams throughout the hospital. You had a difficult IV, don't waste your time. Call them, they'll come get it while you can do your other tasks. And if you had to splint somebody, don't worry about it. The ortho residents will come down. They want all of that. You don't get to do that. That's their domain. So I had all these skills and I get there, I'm like, oh, these nurses that have been here for their whole careers don't know how to do these things because they've got people to do them for them. Now, they they had more knowledge about like multi-system trauma. They had a lot of other experience that I didn't have, but I had the basic training. I'd handled trauma. So it was just elevating that game a little bit. So if you come from a small rural hospital and you're going to a larger level one, don't fret. You've got skills. Trust in them. Use them. Let's see. You ever had a know-it-all LVN check you? No, I've never had that experience. The LVNs or LPNs that I've worked with, mostly on med surg when I got floated to med surg from the ICU, they were all very nice and taught me a lot. Nadine Bowden, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Master Potato 507, what is one pet peeve you have when it comes to bedside nursing? One? Man, I'm trying to think. I would say one of my biggest pet peeves is when family members will not let the patient answer questions. Like I am trying to talk to the patient and there's a reason for that. Like I'm trying to assess their mental status. Are they answering questions? Are there any other signs that I need to be aware of? That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves. Let the patient talk. And then if I have additional questions or you need to fill in some information, please by all means. But it's not that I'm being rude. It's just that I need to assess their mental status and whether or not they can answer questions appropriately. That's probably my biggest one. What's a PICU? That's a pediatric ICU. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Your lactation specialist. What is your place called where you monitor after a major surgery? That's usually after a major surgery. I mean, after they come out, they go to like a PACU, post anesthesia care unit. Lisa Love was a travel nurse in California for 3 years. Loved it. Where in California? Because like I just feel like it's so expensive out there. Go Caps. Woo, go Caps. PACU. Yeah, PACU. I think if I left PACU is still considered bedside. If I left the ER and wanted to stay bedside, I'd probably go PACU. But I don't know. I don't know how much longer I'm going to stay bedside. A couple years, 2 or 3 years, maybe. I don't know what I'm going to do after that. I'm going to stay at the VA. I just don't know what I want to do. My biggest relief is when I realize when the EMT is asking me questions like who's the prez, I can just ignore it and sleep. I don't ask that question anymore. It's too loaded. People get too worked up about it. So I've changed my questions. I don't ask that anymore. And plus, you've got a president who had a 4-year gap. So they may not, if you ask them who is the current president and they say the name of the current president, well, are they thinking it was back in 2016 to 2020? Is that what they're thinking? Like, I don't know. Oh, so you've done Reading. Oh, you've done a lot. And which one of those was your favorite? What's something that you see or have done that I've not seen as a nurse? I've not seen anything. I've not come across, and I've seen. I mean, I want to say I've seen everything because you've never seen everything, but I've seen a lot over the last 10 years, and I've not come across anything that's maybe even remotely get to that point. I mean, I've seen some pretty horrific things and things I don't want to like ever see again, but nothing's ever made me do that. I have seen nursing students pass out at the bedside. Yep, I have seen, other nurses lose their stomach, yeah. You make a lot in California, but the cost of living is so much higher. That's the thing I have with California, and it's hot. I don't like hot. Like, I cannot live any further south because it's too hot. Furia had 10 pounds of liver removed in March. My nurse, oh my gosh, 10 pounds of liver. That's a lot. I didn't know they weighed that much. Oh, how we doing here? All right, we're doing all right. It'll go till about 7:35-ish, and then I gotta get off, get my workout in, get showered up, and get ready for work. There you go. I like that one. Frostbite, that's a good one. If you have 4 quarters, how much money would you have? Oh, so it was bigger than it should have been. That makes more sense. Well, I'm glad you're doing well. I mean, you're well enough to be on here interacting and alive, so that's good. What's the recovery time on that? Like, how long did it take you to get back to your what you would consider, normal? Have have you ever Oh, no, I've not. 6 months recovery. Wow, that's a long time. I assume there had to be some physical therapy in there too, because if you're, you know, not doing a whole lot of moving. Um, let's see. I have not gone to any conferences. We do have a nurse who is going to a stroke conference in Louisiana, but it's not me. Yeah, bedside nurses don't get to do that stuff very often. Now, when I worked at other hospitals, they would, like, they'd send us to ENA conferences but then you did self-scheduling, so it was easier to get time off for those. You could just build your schedule around it. We don't do self-scheduling. So, which is, good and bad. There are good parts and bad parts about it. If everybody went to it, if we all agreed to go to it, but we're union, so everybody has to agree. If not all of us agree, then it's not really gonna work. Oh, I'm just gonna take a peek on the other channels and see. I didn't think so. But it is kinda cool. Like, I see myself over here on some other channels. No comments or anything. Oh, I didn't even think to check Facebook. Apparently, I'm on there too. So today's my last day before I'm off for 2 weeks, and I cannot wait. It's gonna be great. What do you wish EMS did better? I wish they did better at having all the and I run EMS, so you have to understand I run EMS, I call reports in when I volunteer when I'm not working at the ER. So, I understand this and I practice what I preach, and that is have a full set of vitals. Have all the information before you call me. Because when I'm at the VA and they're calling me and I'm like, "Okay, well, did you get an EKG?" "Well, not yet." "Well, how about you get it first and then you call me?" Because otherwise that's going to affect what we do. Because if our cath lab is down, I can't take you. I got to divert you to another hospital. You know, um, get me a blood sugar, get me all of the information, not piecemeal. And a lot of times they don't even know the patient's name. I'll be like, what's their name? Because like we have to know their name and their last four. And they're like, hang on a second, sir, what's your name? Really? Like, I mean, and I run EMS. That's one of the first thing I do is get their name. So I don't understand that at all. What do you have planned for your time off? Well, I can't say it too loud because I got little ears listening, but it involves a mouse and a boat. And that's all I can say. The walls have ears. How's the schooling for nursing? Um, I mean, it's challenging. Oh, my appeal was not approved. So whatever. Oh man. I can see why a lot of like I've noticed a lot of people that used to go live a lot, they're not going live as much as they did because of this kind of nonsense. I don't really understand what the end game is with TikTok. Like what do they think what are they hoping to achieve by just like randomly restricting people for apparently no reason. Like they did tell me one time is like you ask people for things, and I'm like I did not. I never do that ever. The only thing I do is tap the screen. That's it. Outside of that, I don't ask for anything, and they'll just say, "Oh, you did that," and I'm like, "No, I didn't." Yeah, it is, and that's why I'm, like, simulcasting on other platforms, because it's just like, I gotta get off here, but the audience is here. Like, I do lives on other platforms, and, like, there's just nobody there because everybody's here. Everybody's so locked in, they're so invested in the, um, TikTok sphere that it's hard to get people on other channels. Right, with no context. Like, they won't give you an example, like, you're like, "Hey, we're restricting because you said this. Here is your quote. This is what you said, and this is against our guidelines." But they don't. They just said, "You are in violation of our community guidelines, and your live is restricted," and they won't tell you why. And it's just like, ah. So, like, I'm trying to get on. So, you know what? I'm restricted already. So, if you are on if you so what are they gonna do? Restrict me more? So I'm on Facebook at Beyond the Call Light. That's mostly my podcast, but I'm on Instagram and I'm much more active on Instagram. You can find me at the same Gary the ER Nurse. I'm on Substack. I'm trying to build that up. Gary the ER Nurse. I'm on. Let's see. You can find me on YouTube as well, and I'm on Twitch. I'm on Patreon. Anybody spare $5 a month to support the podcast? You do get a couple of little perks there, and you can find that right there. And then, yeah, so basically any social media platform I'm on is Gary the ER Nurse. So feel free to reach out to me there. I'm trying to be more active on those because TikTok is so restrictive. It's just a live. The live is the part, like here the engagement is here. If we could all just go over to another platform, that would be great. But I know that's hard to do. Yes, I'm on Patreon. I started that. I'm trying to build that up. So a cup of coffee a month. That's all it is. If I can get like 100 people to do $5 a month, man, that would fund the podcast. Like that'd be really good because it's actually kind of expensive to do a podcast. So the equipment's expensive, the monthly subscription, like, oh my gosh, I remember running a website was easy, but like now it's like $30 a month for the subscription to do a website. Yeah, I've done Facebook, but, again, the audience just isn't there. I think it's mostly old people like me on Facebook. I don't think younger people on Facebook too much anymore. What's your favorite chief complaint? Dizziness? Now, I will say my favorite diagnosis is dizziness and giddiness. That's one of my favorite diagnoses. What is the most simple chief complaint you've got that turned into a major diagnosis? Oh, like, I guess, like, dizziness or, like, upset stomach, and then it turns into, like, some type of NSTEMI or something like that. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Males can get mastitis too. Cool. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Shelly, for following me on Instagram. I appreciate that. You can go live on Instagram. Did you know that? I didn't know you could do that. I'm live on Instagram right now, I think. I don't know. It's not intuitive. Like, when I'm on Instagram, like, like there's no, like, live button. You can't go live from your phone. You have to do it, like, through a third party. You have to get, like, a streaming key. You have to go through I use Riverside, so I can go live on multiple platforms through there. But, you know, it is just like nobody's there. There's no audience there. Yeah, that one's yeah, the general headache, you get, like, that 1 in, like, 1,000 or whatever it is, and then now every time somebody comes with a headache, you think back to that one case, like, "Oh, it could be a tumor." But, if it's a headache out of proportion and it's not being managed, then, yeah, they're gonna do some type of scan. That's why I was so when I had my neurological episodes, they did, MRI and MRA of my head and neck, and to make sure everything was good, and it was a relief because I've always had that fear of having either an aneurysm or, a tumor, and, of course, I had a head CT as well, but I also had an MRI, and that ruled out all of that, so that was a relief. Like, 1 in 50 people walk around with an aneurysm. That's scary. Let's see. A STEMI with a trope of so we had one the other day. Um, Guy comes in, very benign symptoms, like just don't feel well, stomach's upset, like I just feel fatigued. It's been going on for like 2 days. Do an EKG, like inferior MI, reciprocal changes, and like, oh, snap. And then his troponin was like 15,000. You're like, oh, we didn't get you to a cath lab, like, dude, sweet. Oh, diagnosed with cervical dystonia when I was having neurological issues. Oh, man, that's how you doing now? Is that like a how do you like, I don't even I'm not very familiar with that. Like, how do you treat that? How often do people get the syndrome that causes bread and other starches? Oh, I've heard of that. I've never seen that, but I know what you're talking about, where they're I don't know, that's gotta be very rare, I would think, very rare. I had a patient come in, with chief complaint of left shoulder blade pain from hitting on a door frame turned into oh, that's what it is, turned into a STEMI, yeah. Yeah, and as a triage nurse, you're like, "Oh, well, that's, just do an X-ray and whatever," and you're like, "Oh, this is a level 4, left shoulder pain, banged it on a door, it makes sense," and then you get back there and then somebody goes, "Hmm, maybe we should do an EKG." Unrelieved shoulder pain, so it wasn't yeah, it should be relieved with, like, some treatment. If it's not, then you gotta explore further. Yeah, this is not one of my favorite songs, Christmas songs. It's alright. I like the classics more. I'm not big on the newer not all, there's some newer ones that I like, but not all of them. So, but it still puts me in the Christmas spirit. So the wild thing is, so here's the thing, if you're on Substack, I'm gonna ask a favor of you. If you could go find because you have to have 10 people following you, which is a very low threshold. I've got 1 because I just started. I haven't really done much with it. But if you're on Substack, which is where I've been a lurker on Substack, I get a lot of my news and information from Substack. I'm just not a content producer there, but I do plan on doing a lot more there. Um, but if you are on Substack, if you would give me a follow, I'll follow you back. And if I can get to 10, I can start going live on Substack, which is where I would much rather be on Substack. It's a very robust platform. It's growing. I think that's where the future is. Haven't even heard of it. Oh, yeah. Well, look, so Substack is where a lot of journalists have gone, like independent journalists, like former network journalists are there now doing their own thing because networks are just not doing their job these days. So I get a lot of my content there. So whether it's Heather Cox Robinson, um, Aaron Parnas is on there. I mean, a lot of them are on there. You can and like it's basically another social media platform, but you can go live, you can post comments, you can do posts, all kinds of stuff. It's I don't know. It's like I don't know. I really like it. They have audio. You can listen to podcasts there. You can watch videos there, streams. So yeah, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. I really like it. That's where I use it mostly as a news platform, and that's pretty much it. Frostbite. Had a patient for pre-op. She had a STEMI on a 12 lead. Only complaint was a toothache. Straight to the cath lab. Yeah, it's like that. Straight to jail. Straight to cath lab. Straight to cath lab. Yeah, give it a try. See what you think. So if you don't follow Heather Cox Robinson, is it Robinson? I think it's Heather Cox Robinson. She does a lot of has a series called Letters from an American, and I really like it. I used to read it because she comes out with it every day, like almost every day, and then she records it, and then it'll come out as an audio version a couple days later. And it's usually pretty short, like 10 to 15 minutes, actually pretty short. And she reads it, and so I like to listen to it when I'm driving to work. And it's factually based. It's comparing history. Richardson, thank you. I was having a brain fart there. Um, but anyway, you should check it out. I really like it, but that's where I follow all of my journalists on there. But I'm trying to build it up because I gotta get off of this platform. It's just so restrictive. Did y'all hear about the 60 Minutes thing? They pulled it from the American, but they forgot to pull it from the Canadian package, so it aired anyway. So, yeah, that's a bad look for CBS. And, like, I wanna cancel all the things that are CBS. I do, but it's got my football. It's the only place I can get English football. What are some critiques you have when you were in the CCU and getting a report from an so I never worked in a well, when I was in the ICU, I worked ICU and got reports from the ER. I didn't really have any critiques. I think I didn't have an appreciation for what goes on in the ER and how busy they were. So sometimes I felt like there was missing information, but once you go work in the ER, you understand why there's sometimes missing information or an incomplete report is because they just don't have time. We just don't have time. Sometimes we're so busy, we can't get all of those things that, that ICU nurses are going to be focused on. So I don't know. I never was really bitter about it, but I was a new grad, so I didn't have a right to be bitter because I was new and I was still learning. So I had no clout. Like I had no standing to push back. But RER was great. They were really good people, and I ended up working for them. They actually stole me from the ICU to come work in the ER. So they liked me, and I liked them, and I had a good relationship with them. But one of the wild things was I was 6 months into my nursing career, and they made me charge nurse, and they're like, "Oh, well, you have previous experience, managing people, and you'll be fine." I'm like, "Okay," and you got experienced nurses coming to me asking me questions like I know stuff, and I'm like, "I don't know." Like, You've been doing this 20 years. You're the one that I'm supposed to come to you." EMS here. I work in a space the size of a closet. Yeah. My hospital ER doesn't give it. Yeah, I wish we got away from that. I mean, the studies that are available show that, um, patient outcomes are better the less time they spend in the ER. So if we're waiting for them to call us back for a report in the ER or for whatever, that delays the time that it takes for those patients to get up. A lot of hospitals have gone away from doing verbal report, or a lot of them seem to do is they send out that SBAR, digital SBAR, goes either prints upstairs or goes directly to the nurse, and then they have 15 minutes to review it. If they have questions, they can call. If they don't call within the 15 minutes, the patient goes upstairs. So, and I wish our hospital did that, but we don't. All right. So again, you can find me on Instagram, Gary the ER Nurse. You find me on Substack, Gary the ER Nurse. Oh, yeah, they do that all the time. Yeah, they do that all the time. I used to fall for that. I don't do that anymore. You're not gonna bully me into doing that stuff. And if you haven't checked out Substack, go check out Substack. It's a great place to get news and information that you're not getting elsewhere. All right, folks. It was a good morning, a good hour-long session with y'all. I appreciate you stopping by. We had a nice group in here. Everybody behaved themselves. I wonder if it was the bots. I wonder if bots got in here, because if bots get into your room, and there were some weird ones in there, and maybe I didn't block them fast enough or I didn't do anything. Thank you, Ames. I appreciate Ames. You're awesome. You support so many people, and I really appreciate that. It's actually crazy how much stuff nurses have to learn about EMS, like 20, 25 things in depth. Well, yeah, I mean, because when you're in EMS, you're focused on life-saving interventions, right? And nursing is more holistic. Like, we look at things like preventative care, what happens when they go home, education. So when we discharge people, we have to go over discharge summaries with education, make sure they understand it, get them to teach it back to us. So it's more holistic in what we do, and that's by design. So how do I know if a CPR course is AHA approved? It should say, if you're looking, just go directly to the AHA website. So I'm an AHA instructor, and also HSI, but go to the AHA website, look for courses, and that's the way you can guarantee that it is officially, because they can't register a course on the AHA website unless they're a certified instructor. So that's the best way to find out. All right, folks. I got to call it a day because I got to get my workout in. I've got to get ready for work, and we're going to go tackle a day in which we have 9 holds and a 15 bet ER. So I am a little nervous about going in today, but we'll find out. As always, thank you all so much for stopping by. Thank you very much for tapping that screen and for all the gifts that y'all sent, unsolicited, by the way, TikTok. Oh, and I saw my restriction is now gone. Funny how that works. Y'all have a wonderful day. As always, be kind to others, be kind to yourself. Prioritize your mental health. It's important. I'm Gary the ER nurse, and we might do this again tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Y'all have a wonderful day.